it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Iron Reese. Dynamic duo. Talk is still real. We still on the corner. Real talk corner. We gonna touch on some topics.
It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Check it out, you know, in tune.
My daddy made this beat.
Yo, check it out, you know, in tune to the dynamic duo. Reese and Ira on the corner. Real talk corner.
Real Entertainment Network.
Iron Reese. The talk is still real. We still on the corner. We gonna touch on some topics.
SKN, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, it's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Iron Reese.
Dynamic duo.
Talk is still real. We still on the corner.
Real talk
We
corner.
gonna touch on some topics.
It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Check it out, you know, in tune.
My daddy made this beat.
Yo, check it out, you know, in tune to the dynamic duo. Reese and Ira on the corner. Real talk corner.
Real Entertainment Network.
Iron Reese. The talk is still real. We still on the corner. We gonna touch on some topics.
SKN, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, it's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Iron Reese.
Dynamic duo.
Talk is still real. We still on the corner.
Real talk
We
corner.
gonna touch on some topics.
It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Check it out, you know, in tune.
My daddy made this beat.
Yo, check it out, you know, in tune to the dynamic duo. Reese and Ira on the corner. Real talk corner.
Real Entertainment Network.
Iron Reese. The talk is still real. We still on the corner. We gonna touch on some topics.
SKN, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, it's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and it's real talk. It's real talk and real talk. It's real talk and real talk, yeah.
Check it out.
Check it out. Ritz!
Oh, go on.
There.
Long
I am
time, eh?
here.
Long time.
Why? It's been a very long time. A very,
Been a
very
long
long
time,
time.
boy. Long time.
Um,
Long time coming.
yeah, you know it is. You know it is. You know it is.
You know, you
But
sometime, yo.
yeah,
But we back.
yeah, excited to be back too. I ain't gonna lie. Definitely
We
excited to be
feel,
back.
you feel
Um,
good. You
it's
feel good. You feel good, boy.
it really does. It really does. So how you been? How you been, man? How you been?
But I've been good now. I can't complain. Life has been good to me.
Yeah,
Wake up every morning, like a lot of reasons to smile. So you don't know how you go.
yeah,
I always in a good mood. You know me.
yeah. So you got a new fit?
But yeah, you know, everybody wants to know. A lot of people ask me about the hat them, and also I get a real talk kind of hat.
Yeah,
You know, and I don't see somebody gonna ask a question and say where the hat come from and thing. But the merch coming soon, man.
yeah, definitely. As we roll out, march out. So while we were gone, we had the topics doing its thing, and we also introduced a new show last week, Thursday, called Whispers. So
Yeah, man.
yeah,
And you know, we got to big up the topics really and truly to
for sure.
the topics carried the network for some time.
Yeah, man.
And Jason and Alan,
Mm-hmm.
two stellar young men who have been able to elevate this platform and carry it on their own.
Yeah,
You know, so you got to big up the
Yep.
topics big time.
Definitely big them up one time.
Yeah,
Big
man.
them up large. You know, they're large, but
Yeah, man. The
you
big
know.
friend Tanya in the area, Tanya doesn't shop. Tanya
Oh,
usually late, eh?
big up
But she here
Tanya.
early.
Big
Yeah,
up
man.
Tanya.
Tanya, big up yourself.
The Amazonian. You know what
Yeah,
I
you
mean?
don't know. Yeah.
The Amazonian. Tanya taking all we money right now on a Reese. Tanya is
Yeah,
taking
right.
all of our money right now.
You know, you take a lot from me, eh? Yeah.
A matter of fact, this weekend I was showing my wife's aunt how to see all the money you spend on Amazon. There's a little report you could pull. A lot of people don't
know what
want to do it.
Me know what to say. Me know what to say. Me alright, you know?
I feel you. I feel you. I believe you are. I believe
You know,
you are.
really. Yeah, man.
But
But you know,
mhm.
without further ado, let's get back to the real talk, man.
Yeah, you know, a lot has been going on in St. Kitts and Nevis around the world. So today we ain't gonna focus on one topic, right? We're gonna kind of do a old time, real talk kind of style. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the original real talk kind of, right? Where we used to just talk about, you know, different things.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think tonight is the night where we're just coming back for the first time.
Mhm.
First time in a long time. Actually, first time for the year. You know, first show for 2022.
It's
We got to have a little recap. We got to talk about certain things.
yeah, for sure. Some of the things might be played out by now. You know, we ain't gonna touch on those too much. You know, like you got the war and then kind of things that were going on. You know, and whatever. But we could start out with the bill that was introduced into the House of Congress. You remember that?
The
The
bill-
Congresswoman?
the bill, Congresswoman Stacey Plaskett out of
VI.
the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
Out of the Virgin Islands.
Yes.
She introduced a bill where she wanted to make it a visa-free entry into the United States Virgin Islands for members of CARICOM.
Yeah.
Surrounding islands.
Wait, hold
South
on. Oops, I dropped my earpiece. I have a little visitor next to me too, a little one. You know, free roam. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Was it the CARICOM? They had said the CARICOM or the Caribbean?
wasn't
surrounding
Caribbean, it was
islands.
more surrounding islands. When I saw it, yeah, it was interesting to see that they were contemplating taking such action.
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
I didn't notice that. Yeah, because it's because the Virgin Islands is still a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
So to enter any part of the United States without a visa is a big thing for Caribbean people. And I noticed that a lot of people actually started celebrating, and I almost felt it was kind of too much premature, but I think that it's still a step in the right direction, and hopefully going forward they're able to get it to go through, and it actually goes into law.
I would agree with you. Definitely premature. You know. So if it's one thing America does is they have a lot of checks and balances in place. So in order for that bill to become a law, you know, it's gonna have to go through a procedure. I need to update this thing under here, but I mean, civics is something that maybe social studies is where they might teach this in school already. So there's two legislature in America, right? The House, which is the House of Senate, and the House of Representatives. So the Senate and the House of Representatives, right? Ain't gonna get into all of that, but what this bill is right now is just an introduction. It's in the introductory stage where the leader is going to pass it on to a committee for review. And what that mean is, Reese, tell them what I mean, man. What that committee.
We know it's a long process.
Yeah.
It's going to entail definitely a research group who are going to go through and find ways. What they really do with a lot of the research groups is actually work on finding ways that people could circumnavigate the law. Right? So once they've realized that there are too many ways that people could go around it, then it becomes a problem. And that is what they're going to be looking at. As you do know, if you make it to the Virgin Islands, you do not need a visa to make it to Miami or to New York or to Atlanta. Right? So they will also have to find a way to limit your travel, your traveling. You know, so it has to be a way with that. Once you make it to the Virgin Islands, you're not allowed to enter the US. So these are things that are going to be discussed and are going to be looked at before it's passed into law. So it's going to be quite some time to go through.
Reese, you gone too far. You gone too far. Because first of all, the committee has to decide this is worth our time. You get what I'm saying? And we want to pass it on to the floor. The committee might decide we ain't got no time for this. What? First of all, the bill doesn't have any co-sponsors. And when you look at her bills, a lot of her bills are basically in the introductory stage. They never made it out of the introductory stage. I am not trying to be the bearer of bad news, but this is real talk, Hannah. And the realistic approach to this is to think that this will never become a law. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen.
I said that from the beginning. I thought it. Now, what I would say is that it's a good step, and I think we've seen in history where someone would lay out a plan, and then 3 years later somebody else decided to take up the mantle and run with the plan. So I think that may be the way that they may go through, but I don't see her being able to get it through on her own because, like you said, there are no co-sponsors of the bill.
None.
You know, she's really out there by herself, and I think with her being a representative from the Virgin Islands, she's going to be the only one that may even consider that worthy. You know, somebody from Vermont or somebody from North Carolina or somebody from Texas wouldn't consider that because it does not impact them directly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so that is really that.
The immigration committee, they're gonna say, okay, let's go quick crash course on how this bill is going to make its way through. And we're going to go as if it made its way all the way to the president, because it has to make it to the president's desk in order for it to be law. So there's two ways for a bill to become law, right? There's two entry points: House of Congress, Senate, right? Well, this was a congresswoman, so this one is going to be entered into the House of Congress, right? The idea is someone has an idea. The idea could just be the constituents, like you and myself got to her and say, yo, this is a good idea, right? You should make this bill. She take it into consideration, she do the bill, she pass it on to the House, and then the leader of the House then pass it on to the committee. The committee then is responsible for whatever topic it is. So let's say this is an immigration bill, it would be an immigration committee, right? So after that committee says, okay, let me do this thing, they pass it on to the House of Congress, because that's where it is. Long story, because you got 500 and something representatives. It's where the populace is taken into consideration. So there are a number of congressmen / women to represent the population of a state. So there is a state law, federal law. This would be a state law, territory law, whatever it is. So then, yeah, huh?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So let's say it gets the majority in the Congress. After that, it gets the majority in the Congress. Guess what? It has to go through the process in the House of Senate as well. You see what I'm saying? It has to go over this again. It has to go back to the Senate committee. And if it goes to the Senate committee and they decide, look, we want to make a change to this bill because we want to take out. You say St. Kitts and Nevis? No, they don't sell a passport to all types of people. We ain't want them in the bill. And we ain't want these countries or this country or this country. It has to start right back over again. It has to go back to the process again. But let's say they didn't change anything and it passes on the House. Then it has to go to another committee and then it lands on the president's desk for him to sign. If he wants, he could veto it. I mean, it's just so much for them to do. So much work for them to just allow people into the country for visitation.
So my thing is, right, the process is very long. And like you said, they could go back and ask for a revision.
Yeah.
And sometimes revision takes 6 months to a year to go through.
Mm-hmm.
By the time the 6 months to a year don't come around, election time on the corner again. So now, these individuals who you might think should be focusing on this bill, they also have to focus on re-election. So then they start to balance, well, which is more important, my campaign, this bill. And that is where sometimes you see a lot of bills that don't hold necessarily a lot of weight to fall by the wayside, because the process to get something passed is so long that by the time it comes around, it's election time again.
Yeah, and as Jackie said, she would have to do a lot of work to get her colleagues to actually make it.
I think one of the things when I looked at it is that she had no backing.
She has
and
no
I
backing.
think with her having no backing, I think it would have been better for her to have a senator or two on her side and a congresswoman or congressman or two on her side, and then they could have gone from there, because at that point then she would have some level, right, some kind of foundation. But with her going in blindly as a representative of the United States Virgin Islands, it is kind of hard for them to say, well, she has the way to carry this through to the finish line.
Yeah, and this is it, right? The introductory, it's not going to come out of this stage. It's not going to come out of the introduced stage. It's definitely,
that's where,
I was pointing to the wrong bill. It's going to stay right here.
Yeah, it's going to take some time.
It's too much work.
But like I say, hopefully, even if it doesn't go through, someone comes along 5, 6, 7 years later and decide, well, I'm going to take up this mantle and run with it. I support this, and go from there.
Well, who going back into the archives to pull this up, Reese? Because this bill will be tabled and die in the committee. They're not going to debate this bill. I don't believe it. I don't believe.
I don't think it's going to be debated right now. But I think because it has already been out there,
Yeah.
someone in the future will come back and say, "Hey, let's use this." It's just like Obamacare. Obamacare wasn't Obama idea, you know.
Yeah.
The idea was already out there. He just went back and pulled it.
Yeah, but Reese,
You know.
that brings change and that affects Americans, you know. The idea is this bill, what change and how will this benefit Americans? So, like you said, because you use the word not you, Jackie used the word lobby, right? If this bill was presented to her by a lobbyist, then maybe you might have stand a chance, because you know how the whole lobbying go in America. When a lobbyist decide, yo, we need this thing so that we could make some moves. So now money in the game, and you know they get support from other congressmen, women, and senators and them kind of stuff there, because that's what it is. But it would be interesting to know how this bill, where the idea came up. Like, was it just constituents? Was it just her? Was it a lobbyist? Because if it's a lobbyist, then it might be the best bet for it to making it through, because then you have people now who could help you lobby with other Congress members, and then the Senate same ways, and spend some money. Exactly. Starboy, you don't know the Republicans gonna say, we ain't got no time for this. We ain't got no time for this. We ain't got no time for this.
And what you saying is correct, eh? The Republicans will fight against it hard.
Yeah.
The Republicans will fight against it hard. That's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, the last part. Go ahead.
No, it is what it is. But I would tell you that there's actually an agreement between the United States Virgin Islands and the British Virgin Islands where they go back and forth without visas. Eh?
Yeah.
Now, I would say that maybe that is where the idea for this started. Well, if you could be with one set of Caribbean people, well, we can't date another. But I think the thing about it is that the British Virgin Islands has a UK passport. Eh?
Yeah.
So they may be more likely to free up for them than they would for some other Caribbean countries, especially with a lot of these countries doing this citizen by investment thing.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily
anybody could
believe
have a passport.
are being vetted properly. So that's another thing.
Yeah. Oh, let me bring it back on screen, because we ain't on screen. Yeah. And that's another point that Starboy bring up. The man might think it might be a way to pad the less, and we ain't want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I tell you, people going to make it into the Virgin Islands and decide, me nah go back.
No, I'm going to make it into the Virgin Islands, and I could tell you this for a fact. And now imagine that this is waiver free entry, visa free entry.
Yeah.
They have people who enter illegally, and them man find a wife, and the woman find husband, and them not left, So imagine now you legally enter. Oh no, them not going back home.
Tanya, that's a good point, That's a good point. But let me tell you, with every system, there's always ways around it.
Of course.
Like, there's always ways around it. Like, I get that they won't be citizens, so by law, they shouldn't be able to vote.
Yeah, they won't be citizens.
Well, by law, they can't.
They won't get married. They won't find a man or woman.
But Reese, you feel like in all elections in America, the case doesn't exist where one person was able to vote without being a citizen through some sort of election fraud? You think the system is that? Huh?
I don't even think so much as election fraud. I think when you look at a lot of these things with stolen identities, I go vote on a dead man name if I get it right there. But the thing about it, what she said is, if you're living in the Virgin Islands, you cannot vote in the US. That is true.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
But if you live in the Virgin Islands and you get married in the Virgin Islands, you become a US citizen and you can move anywhere.
Hey.
Once you get some paper, you're gone.
Hush Puppy had become a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, right? What he do? Married.
Yeah. So
Look,
that's all them things, man.
these are the shot. People do it all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People do it all the time. You
Yeah,
know, I hmm?
is that real thing? Is that real thing? Is that real thing?
Yeah. I was fortunate enough, I guess, to some it's fortunate, but I guess I was born during a time when the movement into the Virgin Islands, I guess, maybe was like easier, and people were able to get kids. And I heard people complain about that, right? The whole fact that people came down there and get their kids and all of this stuff, it's
Well, it wasn't so much that, It was more so that a lot of people would go and get children and don't pay the medical bill. They just bust out.
Jackie, that's another law that's not going to make it.
Yeah, that not gonna foot. That not gonna foot. That the foot broke long time.
Hey. The only way that happens if both parties could see a way that they could benefit from it. And right now the Republicans can't see a way to the finish line. Right? The Republicans can't see a way to the finish line. But interesting enough, right? Interesting enough. Still happening. Only now you got to pay the bill. Yeah, that's still happening, Tanya.
Yeah, but it different there because what happened is now if you're a U.S. citizen, they would put collection, they would send you stuff to collections and they will kind of mess with your life. But when you're from Antigua and you got a child, what are they send you collections to? What are they say? VC Board International Airport? They can't do it. Then I mean, I'm just saying, oh.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be rough, and it happens. They're just left with the bill. It is what it is. That's why we pay taxes, right? Today is the last day to file the taxes if you plan to file this year. So, but let me bring this page, huh? Let me bring this back on the screen. I want to bring up a next point, right? Because we have some things to talk about. So right here, this is all of the bills. Oh, look, I didn't even realize this one was amended. She get some players, something was amended. Anyway, all of these bills were what? She doing things. Anyway, all of these bills were introduced by this congresswoman. All of these. Now, after this topic came up, it reminded me that a politician's job is to make, one of the jobs is to make laws to, for safety, to better protect, the citizens and make life better and all of these things for citizens. And I just want to say this. I ain't gonna stay on the topic too long, right? I just feel like the politicians in St. Kitts and Nevis, they don't create laws. I don't know I think the last law here they did was one for tint, right?
That's a law.
Yeah, they did one for tint.
So you're telling me that we have a law for tint on the books?
Yeah, I think they did one for tint. And this can bring us to our next topic, right? Which is the big decision coming up on Wednesday, the deadline, right, Reese? I don't know if you want to talk more about it because I didn't watch any of the videos, but because of how I feel about the situation. But we had the ability to do some great things in this country, with the unity construct, The unity construct had 9 members out of the 11. That just say that if they brought anything into the parliament, any bill into the parliament, the Yeas would have it easily. Even if they wanted to make a constitutional change, they had more than 2/3 what they need to make the constitutional change. And rather than taking that opportunity to better the lives of St. Kitts and Nevis citizens, we got to hear about next week. You get what I'm saying? That to me is a disgrace, right? I'm not gonna get into like, oh, is this politician or that politician. I'm just saying, as a group, right? As a group, the unity construct could do a lot of good for St. Kitts and Nevis. Likewise, Labour could have do it too when they had all 8.
Labour could have done it, yes, but
Yeah.
Jackie has a point here, right? Some of these laws need changing to modern times.
Yeah.
Some of these
come
laws
back in the middle.
Sorry, some of these laws here that we had, they're from prehistoric times.
Yeah.
I know some of these laws I didn't hear about, right? Is when dinosaur was on the earth here.
Before that, I think they predate dinosaurs.
Oh, I tell you, right? The man who write the Bible, no ban when these laws are right. But the truth is,
Yeah.
the truth is and the reality is, I don't think our politicians think about laws. I don't think they think about ways that they can better the lives of our people. I think when they look at it, they say, well, the people vote for me, so they know what they're going to get. Right? And we have a lot of people as well who support politicians blindly. Them just say, I got a red shirt, I got a yellow shirt, they got a blue shirt, they got a green shirt, and I support the party blindly. And that is one of the biggest problems that we have. Okay? These laws, you just tell me to go a lot at the book about tint.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
That is a lot to pass. That's not a lot to pass. So there isn't anything that there's nobody that is in cabinet that could say, I push this law forward, I push this legislation forward. They're not going to do it. The other thing when you spoke about the Constitution, I have already told you that if somebody win a game with a certain set of rules, they will not change the rules.
What? Okay.
And that is the problem.
I understand that.
Let me tell you something. You know who gonna change the rules?
Who?
Dougie could have changed the rules. If Dougie had decided going into 2015 that was going to be his last year as Prime Minister, he could have changed all the rules and then say, well, the rules don't apply to me no more because I am not in that position.
Yeah. Okay. Understood. I get that. And that's something that they could have do. Like Prentice said, right? Starboy. They could have made the Charleston Accord a law, right? Tanya saying that they had no intentions to really make change. And that's how it feels. But to your point, right? There is so many other things in the Constitution that doesn't involve them and winning in elections. There's other changes they could make, right? There's other changes they could make. And we had a discussion on this, which we're going to come up with part 2. So tune in whenever that part 2 is announced. Constitutional reform. But
the truth is, well, you have to be realistic, right?
Yeah.
What is impactful is the political dialect. So anything within the constitution that is political is what is impactful. That is what people want to pay attention to.
There's more. Well, there's more. We had this discussion. I mean, we brought up like, okay, well, this is one, the right to vote. But yeah, let's scrap that one. The passport. You don't have a right to a passport, right? There's nothing to govern how that works. But anyway, that is not what we're gonna talk about because that's a topic on its own. We've already brought that up. You know, constitutional reform. We need electoral reform. Constitutional reform. Extra unity is a good. They were in a good position. I don't think they're in a good position anymore. I don't think they're gelling. Look, now we can get into the decision. Wednesday's decision, because I can break this down to how I see it, because I have some problems,
Okay, talk.
No, you don't want to go? You go first, man.
Well, let's talk about it.
Mhm.
You have the three parties that came together to form one coalition government.
Yeah,
PLP, CCM.
yeah.
Now, in March, PAM would have had their convention. The speaker, the main speaker would have been the Premier Brantley.
Yeah,
Then I think a week and a half later, PLP had their convention.
yeah,
You kind of notice that certain individuals from these parties who, like the leaders of these parties, did not attend the PLP convention,
they didn't.
and then you start to hear the bickering back and forth, and the bickering back and forth business is a problem to me. And then
Yeah,
you start to hear about the meeting. Because my issue is the meeting, Because the meeting business is, I have a meeting. No, I got to go to church. I have a meeting. We're gonna meet again next week.
me too, Jackie.
I
Go
don't like
ahead.
pump faking, right? I don't like when people pump fake and so on. Tell me they're gonna do it, because I think sometimes that I think within the rational side of my head. If I were to go in dissolve the parliament and I had to tell you why I do it, I had to go to Jonel, I had to go to Hamilton, I had to go to Evelyn, I had to go to Zook and tell them, hey, I insecure I federal pensioner there. So I had to get them in line, I out of line. Me as the Prime Minister Tim, me set, me good for life. And I squeeze them. Because really and truly, somebody got to feel his squeeze.
Well, you're saying that as if he's not doing that, right? I mean,
No. You see, and that's the thing. You see all these extra videos that coming out and so?
yeah.
And this is our government over the Easter weekend. They do
Dissolve.
dissolve government. Whole of
I
parliament
don't
there.
dissolve none.
But I'm telling you that because at this point, that's what you're doing. You just pump faking. Motion of confidence on the board, take it off. You want to meet again next week, take it off. You had a convention to talk about it, take it off. First Timothy, Second Timothy, not Third Timothy. No, well, yeah, you know what I mean? There's a lot of pump fake. But the man is in a position where the man could say, wait, me settle. You know, problems if me dissolve government, me good. I take them blows up to man.
Please take a look at Tanya's comment.
Boy, I ain't no school children saying the long time I left school, Tanya. But I tell you for real, if I were Timo, I would bust the chain one time.
Timo ain't doing
Because
that.
all it is just a pump fake. We gonna meet, we gonna talk, we gonna meet. I got to go to church, I got to go here, you got to go there. We want another meeting. No man. Watch me, you have a meeting about a meeting to go to church to pray to God, about a meeting to go to church to take a picture, somebody trying oil in their head. No man.
Reese,
No, I tell you.
the Prime Minister is flexing on them, you know.
No, you're not flexing the right way.
Man,
No, you're not flexing the right way. Because you want to know how you really flex?
How?
Mash it up. And show them that I could mash it up. You think you're big, but I am the big dog. And then when everything done, say, hey, never forget, I am set for life.
Reese,
Yeah.
Reese, imagine you and I have something very important to talk about. You're very upset. You're disgruntled. You know, you're complaining. I know what your problems are. So we decide, I tell you, well, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to have this meeting, right? Okay. Meeting time. In the middle of the meeting, I said, Baris, this is for the framework, okay? We're going to continue this. But right now, I know we got the rest of the day, but I go into church. I go into church midday in the week.
Who do got church on a Wednesday?
Tim did it. The man did
yeah,
it. That is flexing. The man flex
special
on
party,
them.
yeah.
Flex.
Well, he went, but he passed the ball on for he band practice.
No. The man, I don't. The man went for your enlightenment. The man went for your
But he passed the ball
enlightenment.
on. You want to get the band shake up?
Maybe he know why he won a 19. Yo, the kind of stories you don't hear in SKM politics, eh? So maybe he know why he won a 19. But the man decide, what?
Alleyway.
He feel a chill in your boy. He go in church. You could imagine the man break up the meeting and say, I go into church. And
But
then the other...
you're not going to share the other thing, though. You see, like when he walk out and go church, Brantley and Chance, they say, you know, have to worry about the next meeting. We're going to table this motion on the confidence. The pump faking business is a problem.
This is
If you want to do it.
This is why I said, and me ain't trying to be disrespectful to Sean. The honorable, and I don't even want to call him honorable right now because he ain't going to cabinet, and I think that's a disgrace. But I feel like the man weak, and right now you ain't demonstrating that you're ready to be the prime minister.
Partner, right now, if you look at the numbers, me don't know, maybe me not smart, maybe me not really learn too much of school, but me know that 4 plus 3 equals 7, which is still a majority in the cabinet.
Reese, run pan the board already, you know. The runs were done on the board. Once the man decide they can dissolve the government, there is no runs pan the board, you know.
Yeah, but you got to remember, at this point, you don't tie yourself together. CCM and PAM are now connected as Siamese twins. This is what it is. They're connected.
But
you know, okay. Listen to the convention. I want you to think about this. The convention that PAM had, there were 3 people that spoke in one accord. Kennedy Simmons, former Prime Minister, Premier Brantley, and Sean Richards. The 3 of them speech, one paragraph done, the next man start the next paragraph. Yeah? So them done align. Them done align themselves. What you mean? You're not gonna choice.
But what does that mean? What does that mean for anything? They could align themselves as much as they want. If the place break up, we gotta go back to the polls. The power is not in the hands of the minister, you know? The power is in the hand of the prime minister. The prime minister is the man with the power. The prime minister is the man who going to bring that thing to the parliament for it to be even brought up as a motion. And he could duck that because we watched Dougie duck it back in the day.
No, you know, realize after we're Dougie had a choice.
Well, yeah.
There's only Solani could run.
Well,
Tim 775 pounds. There's only Solani could run. Can't run so far.
Exactly.
But no.
But I think the man done prepare for the time in which he has to show up in parliament, and then the man motion the confidence, the motion.
And you know what I'm going to tell you as well too?
Yeah.
The person who's smiling right now the most is anybody that will wear a red shirt.
Yeah.
Them Labour people happy, you know. Because truthfully, if Parliament happened to dissolve and an election got to get called, they're going to be pay up and PAM going to split 1 cent of vote and the Labour vote going to be there.
Yeah.
And Labour vote now really swear.
No can swear. I mean, Labour is the most popular party in St. Kitts and Nevis, and that is a fact.
But
that is a fact.
I'm tell you something.
Labour,
I'll tell you something, right?
Labour, wait. Labour wasn't going to lose if them plane land, you know? If them man plane had land, Labour wasn't going to lose. That is why them man was able to party. Let me go back and analyze.
Labour planes had land?
Yeah, let me analyze the last 2 elections. The last 2 elections. The first election where Unity come in, right? The first election when Unity come in and they win. Remember, there was a lot of confusion surrounding Labour supporters getting into the country, you know.
Remember, they had the plane stuck in New York for some time.
Planes. And this is probably why Timothy was able to capture the the prime minister seat, because this man walked to a group of people and said, look, you want to be in power? See the blueprint here, but I just got to be the boss. That is the only way a man could decide he can be the prime minister. A group of people with 4, 2, and a man with 1 end up to end up be the boss. The man come. This is why this man was able to left Labour and take the secrets of Labour and bring it over to the Unity Party. And this is why Tim was dancing. You check?
No, you know, dancer. No, the
man was dancing when he saying the country locked down.
Yeah.
You see me?
Exactly
Because
he knew exactly when he locked up.
And
he knew exactly what he did.
And I can tell you something, you know. I watched that last elections and I saw Dougie, you know, and Dougie, you could already see the defeat in Dougie. Because they got beat again early. The
2020 election where we had one of the best election coverages ever. Let's not forget that. We knew that
set the bar high.
We knew that the election was called at that period in the middle of the pandemic. To hold on Dougie. That's all it was. And if you remember that Labour came out and said that they weren't able to campaign while Unity were able to have their rallies or whatever it was. You know, so yeah, I agree with you. If one plane had done, it'd have been a different ballgame.
Definitely.
You know,
definitely a different ballgame.
But why we look at it, we don't want to go back in the past, Sarah. We want to look at what is happening and what makes
Yeah. That was a little tangent.
The premier came out and he had a video that came out. I think he did a press conference, whatever it was. And he spoke about his statement was it's either going to be resolved or dissolved.
Okay.
This Wednesday.
Yeah.
Now I like the hard attack, but I haven't seen the action to support the hard attack. So I think I need the action to support the hard attack.
Yeah.
You know, because the resolve is so good, you know, rhyming and thing, but I need to see action to back it. Yeah. No, for real, because I tell you, from the convention, there's a lot of pump faking.
Yeah. And this is why this is where I have a major problem. This is where I have a major problem. Right? And I'm gonna take it from how I see it. And I'm thinking people seeing it differently. But the way how I see it was, all the time I thought things was good. And when I say I thought things were good, may mean from in the back of my mind, I thinking they got confusion. I'm thinking about based on all that I've heard other ministers said. Right? I've heard our premier say this is the best we've ever had. This is the best things has ever been. I've heard the PAM candidates, because you know they have to reassure the supporters that things good. So Harris again, right?
No.
Okay, for whatever reasons, right now we're talking fair share. We're talking I guess maybe prime ministership. So let me just try in the Charleston Accord, right? The premier right now is championing for Nevis people. So he stand good now, you know. He looking like a hero right now for Nevis people. So hats off to he. But he also had tell Nevis people, give me three people because he need the leverage. Give him the 3. And now his 3 is less than the 2. Right? Okay.
I agree.
Okay. His 3 is less than the 2. Now, here's where I have a major problem. If you have a problem with Tim, and I understand that Jackie had even point out, it's better they reconcile for the best for the nation. But if they have a problem with Tim, a leopard cannot change its spots. So if you can say Tim is this and that, because Tim has showed you that this is what his MO is. He did it to the Labour Party, right? if you got problems with him and he's doing it now to you, why you still trying to hold on? Why you still trying to hold on? Mash up the thing. Mash it up.
Mash up.
Because it's supposed to be, there's nowhere. It's like a relationship. You know,
Mash
you
up
get
the
in a
thing.
relationship and
Mash up the-
something happen between you and your partner. There's that magnet, opposite poles. Not opposite poles, same poles, just pushing you away. You get what I'm saying? Because there's always going to be that tension in the middle. So there is no way them staying together would be for the best for St. Kitts and Nevis right now. They're going to stay together for the best for the candidates of the construct. For those who need to get their pension, we can stay together. Right? For those who want to be Prime Minister in the next election because I need that title on my name, we can stay together. For those who want to see what is called fair share come over to Nevis, we can stay together. And I could respect that. We need fair share. Big up to you, Mark. But we also need to know what's going on with the money that you don't receive too. So big up to you and that too. Because these are the kind of questions we need to ask. Right? You're asking for more money. Well, what happened to the money that you don't get?
I don't think that is the other thing as well, right? With people asking, not with people asking, but with him, the Prime Minister saying that he has said X amount of dollars. I think it'll be something in the region of 400 million.
Well, Mark said 300 and something, so I get with Mark. Mark said 300 and something million. The Prime Minister rolled it up. Mark, give us the exact. It was 300 and I think it might have been 7.
Okay, well, let me run it down, right? We go run down to 100, far like it.
Yeah.
I think that as a public official, you should still give account for the finances of the country.
I would love
and one
to.
of the biggest issues that we don't know where the money gone.
Well, the same for Tim too. Because Tim is a man who don't want to read the IMF report. The man don't want to let nobody know what's going on with the CBI. They don't want the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis to know what's going on with their affairs. They do not want the people of St. Kitts and Nevis to know what's going on with the affairs of St. Kitts and Nevis. But you know who to blame? The people of St. Kitts and Nevis and nobody else. Because we stand for these kind of things. You check? So, once you can stand for these kind of things, it can continue to happen. So, they shouldn't even complain. I know.
Remember, I don't tell you that we don't vote based on policies. You know? We vote based on who got the best band, who bring in Marshall this weekend and bring in Burris next weekend. That way we're gonna vote in on who they say that when you go by the bar, hey, take a free drink, man, the drink can me. That's why we don't vote by.
Yeah.
We don't vote based on policies.
Craziness.
We don't vote for the betterment of the country. We vote for I want a drink. I want two windows for my house and I get 2 windows for my house. That's a problem.
Yeah. And Reese, you don't know the next topic that we're getting into after we come off of this deadline thing is going to show why people really need to take this thing seriously. Because if the CBI got money, we need to know how this money really being spent. And we need to know what kind of investments they plan to do with this money. Because guess what? Things can get dread. But before we go...
Not only that, not only do we need to know that, I think one of the biggest issues too, we like to hear these big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the big problem with these big numbers, we got $2 billion. Mm-hmm. We never ask where the money comes from, and that is one of the reasons why a lot of countries they get blacklisted because they don't take dirty money.
Mm-mm.
So when you take dirty money, the citizens just would really take the hit for it.
Yeah.
So you might say, my account got you $5 billion, we good.
Yeah.
But then when the IMF do an audit, or the US decide to do an audit, or Canada decide to do an audit, they realize well, the $5 billion that it good enough, but it come from dollars. All the money that come from drugs and gang. You know what I mean? Then you run into issues. So as a people, we need to understand where the money comes from and where the money going.
Yeah.
As anything else. Remember, and I think one of the biggest things too, we need to teach the citizens that the people is the government.
Yeah. For sure.
The government is not Tim and Mark and Sean and Janelle
Them a
No,
represent.
they represent me.
We in a
But
democracy.
I am the government.
Mm.
You know what I mean? When it comes to who call the shots, yes, you're going in there, but you need to also take some input from me because I put you there.
Yeah.
I am the government.
Yeah.
You represent me, but I am the government. I call the shots.
Correct. Because I could fire you. But you see, the thing about it is they don't fire governments. And as Jackie just point out, right? As Jackie just point out, they need to vote on policies. You talked about it. We've talked about it, right? But guess what? We keeping the people in the dark. We keeping people in the dark. You see how I just explained how a bill goes to the house and become a law? You know they don't teach that in school for St. Kitts and Nevis. How a bill becomes a law. Because they don't teach any civics. They don't introduce us to our constitution.
I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, right?
Yeah.
No disrespect to you, but teaching it is a waste of time, you know?
Yeah.
Because if it is not being done, then why are you teaching me? Because no bills ain't getting drafted.
That's
Nothing
the
ain't
point.
going to parliament.
But
So why you want to teach me about it?
But, right? When you tell a youth from a tender age, hey, this is the job that the politicians have. This is what politicians do. In their mind, it's embedded. If they go into politics, they want to create laws. Because you already taught them that is what they want to do. Well, I'm hopeful. I'm being optimistic here. Huh?
You want to know what's one of the biggest problem?
What?
I am willing to gamble, and I like to gamble.
Yeah, you're a gambler.
I am willing to gamble that we have politicians that don't know how to write laws, do not know how to present a bill in front of Parliament.
Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Because
so if
even
they don't know how to do it, then how we going to teach our people how to do it?
Well, teachers, they don't teach. But remember, even in America, the bills are not written by necessarily written by the ones that introduce them, you know. The bill is, but not the whole. This is what the bill contain. It's probably written by somebody else.
They don't have the staff for that.
But
staff's limited.
But Reese, then we making big. Look, let's go through it. The Prime Minister, I think, is a finance man. Cool. The second man who want to be Prime Minister, Sean, I think, is a finance man, an accounting man. Cool. Right? You got Dr. Denzel Douglas, medical doctor, and now you got Drew, Dr. Drew, the leader SKN, that's a medical doctor. Now most of them outside, most of the others are liars, you know. It's liars, they're liars, you know, and there's a reason why people elect liars to lead the country, you know, because you think they understand law. And the fact that you understand law, you expect them to make laws. Because you want people to make laws to better your life. Right?
I'll tell you something.
I'll
tell you something. A lot of them will learn law, alright? A lot of the laws that we have, they study because a lot of law courses, right?
Yeah.
Especially those who went to the UK and stuff like that, they study the British law, but that is not necessarily how things is done in St. Kitts Nevis. Right?
That's a funny point.
You know, and that's the thing, because you know, you go to England to study law, you go to Canada to study law, but then you pass it by in England, you pass it by in Canada, and they got people who come back and can't pass it by and say just because what they learn there does not necessarily correlate with what is happening presently in the island. Remember we were here, you know.
Well, we have to apply critical thinking, but look at that comment from Prentice. That is a comment today. I think we should tag that. That should be something that really is like, it's a fact. But as Adam said, we follow the politician law.
No, we have some semblance of what we consider UK law. No, we don't follow UK law like how the UK they follow UK law.
Okay, but Reese, we don't, because our constitution is different to their constitution as well. They don't really got a constitution in the UK, you know. I forget the term, but they don't really got, like, you see how we could go and pull up a constitution and we have this document with all these laws. The UK ain't got that. It's just laws all over the place. But Reese, let me just take it to this level. What are your predictions for Wednesday?
Somebody go in church. Tim go in church. Tim go in church. Because I was talking to my partner and Pastor Boland, he banned practice on Wednesday during the day. And I think that's where Tim went.
No, that's not where Tim went. That's not where he went.
Boy, that's the problem. But you gotta listen to me, boy. Pastor Boland had he banned practice Wednesday during the day, and Tim went church. No other church going on Wednesday, boy.
Big up Pastor Boland, because he's a very entertaining pastor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But apart from that,
to be honest with you, boy, I don't know. I don't know. I want to say that I'm not going to come out of it.
What do you mean nothing? What do you mean nothing? What do you mean nothing?
It will be a meeting that is going to be in preparation for another meeting. Nothing coming out of this. I'm being honest with you. I would love them to prove me wrong, but as a gambling man, if I got to go to Vegas and bet, that's why I bet them.
Okay. Let's say they decide. Let's say we don't have to go through this whole, we made some progress, so now we need to have another meeting. Let's say that it is final. Do you think they're going to be able to resolve it, or you think they're going to dissolve it? This is what I'm getting at.
I don't think it could be resolved. So I think the only thing going forward is for it to be resolved. Even if they find a way to resolve it, there's been too much tension and too much back and forth for anything fruitful to come out of this coalition any longer.
I believe that too. Here's my part. If you look at our background, there's two colors in the back. There's a green and there's a blue, right? And Reese, with the nature of St. Kitts and Nevis, we had to come up with green and blue. Otherwise, they would have labeled us. But I think that this is the only time, if any time, NRP and CCM supposed to hold one head. When you go in to the federal level, it's totally different to a local election. It is not the same ball game.
I agree.
They're supposed to be holding one head. If CCM somehow miraculously, well, they not somehow because they already do it, but they win all three again. Because honestly, after what I'm seeing now, I don't see if people can get them all three again. I'm just being honest. But if they win all three again, right, then they have the whole set. But if the vote somehow split, I think the premier needs to call a meeting with the other person who is elected and said, look, we about Nevis. Let we go in one direction. Right? Let we go as a united body. So we could get back whatever we need from Nevis. Because you could imagine if you got a party down in St. Kitts with 3, another party with 3. You get what you get what I'm saying? Like that 3 coming from Nevis is a solid 3, And Nevis could benefit heavily.
That she come from Nevis is solid on paper, unless you have individual that's willing to go in there and put their foot down and say, hey, give me mine.
Ours. It can't be mine. It got to be ours. And I think the problem is a lot of the times it is give me mine. It is not ours.
So that's the issue. I think that's what's needed.
I don't even feel like these meetings supposed to be closed, this ain't cabinet, I don't even feel like these meetings supposed to be closed. I believe these meetings supposed to be held that we could see, even I could see we should be hearing what they're talking about.
Matter of fact, I think that it should be a way where even media supposed to be in the room. But you just can't interject in the conversation.
Exactly. Hush.
Yeah,
But we supposed to be able
everybody,
to see.
everybody stay quiet. But as the people, we're supposed to be able to hear and see what is going on in there. Because another thing to it, body language is a big language.
Yeah.
So it's different now when you say, "I want our fair share for Nevis." Then when you get up and slam your hand on the table and say, "Yo, I want my fair share."
Demanded.
No, when
Whatever
I
that
see
look
you when
like.
you slam your hand on the table and you get up, Mister, well, nah man, they're serious.
Whatever
But if
that look
you got your legs them cross and you're twiddling your tongue and so I just would like I just look at the face shape for the island of Nevis. Then I got a problem with that. So I
Reese,
think it would be tough to see that.
Reese, I just think when we're talking about fair share, I think the citizens deserve their fair share too, eh? And I mean, Tim need to tell us what's going on with the CBI, right? What's going on with the monies in the CBI, right? How it's being spent, how it's being allocated. Because all of a sudden now, we could find out that you give 400 million to Nevis because it benefit you politically. You can tell us that you send 400 million over to Nevis. Apart from that, you would not have mentioned nothing. You see what I'm saying? So, with that said, we need more transparency. And we need it from Tim, and we also need it from Mark. Let me take the names out of it. We need it from whoever in charge of that copper. Because right now, Tim in charge of the CBI. He's the Minister of Finance. Right? And right now, Mark is the man in the forerunner. But the representatives, whoever representing the people, need to be more transparent. We need to figure out what's going on with this money, because this money, look, I get all the scrutiny when you sell our passport, you know.
As a fact.
Right?
As a fact.
We're the ones who could no longer maybe travel into Canada visa free, do this or do that or whatever the case may be, you know, because our passport is for sale, you know. So the citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis are who can feel it, because guess what? When they have a blue passport, the citizens have a blue passport. These guys have a red one. So they don't get all the issues and trouble and so, you know.
The scrutiny that the citizens go through, they don't go through it. And you're very correct about that.
You get what I'm saying? So when you can sell this passport and say, citizen, you're a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, and person is proud to be a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis, be it the birthright or whatever right, or however they gain it, because we've seen the social media stars them posting their new passport, shiny passport and whatever. However they get it, they're proud of it, right? But we also have to understand being a citizen of St. Kitts and Nevis means something. So once it means something, right, and you decide you're going to take that right that we have for however we got it, be it birthright, be it purchase right, we need to know what's going on. And that's all I'm asking for. What's so hard in that? This is how much money we made in the CBI last year. This is how it's going to be allocated. You know what you call that? The budget. They do a budget reading every year. Why can't it be in there? Right? This amount of money coming out of the CBI monies, this amount is for reserve, this amount going towards new. We don't even know how much money Dougie had to give foreign investors to build up over in Frigate Bay or wherever the case may be. I don't even know. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
These are the kind of things why I don't understand, because you guess what? In the long run, things could be kicking back to them too. And I ain't saying that's what's happening, but it could happen.
Very, very, very possible.
But I think they should break up. I think they should be done with it. But I don't think they're going to be done with it, because I think all of them looking for self gain. And at the end of the day, Janelle want a pension. You know what I'm saying? Keela want she pension.
I don't tell you what I
Eric
would do.
want he pension. Zoo
Eric Zoo.
want he pension. They
Because
want the
because
pension. And I would want my
you know
pension too.
you know what the thing is though? The three people who sitting at the table, them don't set them pension, you know.
Yeah, they're good.
Them
They're good, they're
pension
good.
lock.
They're good, they're good.
So that's why I say if I were him, bust the chain.
And the other thing is, I remember John L said in one of the town hall meeting, until Sean said we done, we still in unity. So that's how we work. So inside the party, they got a tyrant. When one man decide, but yeah, I saw he go. You wanna tell me they can't come, they can't vote on it? That is not a like to me, a lot of things don't make sense here. A lot of things don't make sense. Because you can't tell me you're gonna lead with one style, but then within your party you have another style. Because at the end of the day, Sean could say what he want. And it could also be that he really want to break up the whole thing because he afraid that Tim might go for a third term next year. And next time, and he not get to be he prime minister. And is that enough to break it up? Maybe things really good for the country. You get what I'm saying?
That is true as well.
So why you can just wait until one man decide no, me not happy with what he says, so I gone. So we gone actually. We gone. We out of here. We out.
Why? It look like we out of here. We got to keep it rolling. Keep it rolling. I don't know how many of you guys been paying attention, but recently there has been a new level of food scarcity. If you go to a lot of these stores, you start to see signs saying you could only buy one of this and two of that because the supply chain has been depleted and a lot of stuff ain't making it to the shelves as quickly as they used to. And it almost take you back to when COVID was in its third and fourth month. And I mean when supplies were really limited. What's your thoughts on that, boy?
Boy, this is why I'm so upset. Right? This is why I'm so upset with the topic that we just talked about. Because I could understand in every conversation they start out with, they bring it up. Right? How we got to get ready for hard times. But Reese, to be honest, things has never been the same since COVID. I've always monitored it. Big up Jasmine. You know, I had to point it out to Jasmine. You know, I'm like if I go into Publix right now, even Walmart, there are little gaps, little spaces on the shelves. A lot of products they haven't returned. Maybe this week you might find this, maybe next week you might find that. Maybe if you come today you find this, tomorrow you don't find it, but you find something else. But the idea is, right, there is scarcity of products, and not just any products, you know, food. And it goes back to us being a society dependent on the supermarket, right? Now you have major players like Costco, Walmart, Kroger's, right, putting on these restrictions, right, saying, yo, you could only buy this amount of stuff, right? Look at this sign, limit of 2 on all items that are deemed essential, you know? Essential. If you see that sign there, essential is what that sign says, the essential stuff. Now we need to keep our eyes focused on what's to come. You know, but meanwhile, some people focus on some other things, right? It's hard for me to go back and not talk about what's going on in St. Kitts and Nevis right now, but I kind of want to zone in on this. Reese, we could be in a lot of trouble, right? A lot of people don't plant their own food. A lot of people, we can't produce a lot of the things that we now dependent on. You know, you see how crazy the place went with toilet paper. I mean, even though you could go in the bathroom and wash your body, but you see how the players went.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think, and especially for anyone that has children,
Mm-hmm.
anyone that has children, you may be able to survive on a little 1 or 2 days without eating, but just could survive on water. Children can't do it. Let's be real. Children can't do it. So, for anybody who have children, I would like y'all to go out and start stocking up on things. If not for you, it's for your children,
Yeah.
because it getting tight. I went in Walmart the other day and I looking for water.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not to say I drink no fancy water. The water I was drinking I couldn't find. When I talk to the people and they say, "Boy, listen, things getting rough."
Yeah.
We had this brand of water for X amount of days. I said, "Boy, things really tight." You know what I mean? I went by the toilet paper and the napkins and start to realize that you start to see like gaps on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the tin food too, a lot of the canned food. You start to see a lot of gaps in the shelf. You realize some players running low.
Yeah.
So to anybody who haven't taken a look at it or haven't taken it seriously, please try stocking up on something for you and your family, because you don't get rough before you get better.
I don't even know what better can look like. You know what I mean? Because it's been like this for a while. Now, Reese, I'm a man. I buy water by the cases. I used to buy 10 cases of water. Gallon bottles. I don't want to show the brand, but these right here, right? 10 cases from the dollar store. The first thing I realized is that the dollar store say, "Yo, we no longer a dollar store. It's $1.25."
Yeah, the price gone up.
And if you thought water was one of the things, huh?
Get it together, the price gone up.
If you thought water was one of the things that would be exempting from a price increase, you're sadly mistaken. The water that I used to buy for $1 for one, right, at the dollar store, is now $1.25. The maximum price. It's an essential, right? That's a 25% increase. Even in Walmart, the price went up. So whereas I used to buy 10 cases for a certain amount, I now got to pay, I think, about $15 extra for that same amount. But you know what happened the last time, right? I go into the stores, they no longer bring them in the stores, You have to order them online, So I order mine online. And the last time I went, because I realized what they're doing, when I order my 10 cases, as soon as I reach home, I went and I ordered another 10 cases. And soon I'm going to order another 10 cases, because I know it's going to come a day when they're going to say, this product is not available. The other thing is, in St. Kitts and Nevis, people got assistant, so I hope they still got assistant. But like up here, Reese, invest in a life straw and a life straw bottle. These things got in a filter. The water mightn't taste the best, but we can have water around us. It's just that you won't be able to drink it. And this is way, way, way down the line and kind of extreme, right? Kind of extreme. There are a lot of doomsday preppers. Yeah, love hoarding food. Yeah, they love to hoard food. That is a fact, causing the shortage. But hey, a lot of it to Starboy is we do have an issue with the supply chain. You see Walmart, Amazon announced price hike. You see, so basically the Dollar Tree can no longer survive on $1.25. Dang. Right? You see price hikes. You see everything all over the place. And we also seeing shortage. You understand? Essentials. Those bunkers is going to be the one who got food in the time. You probably want to stock up too. Don't be the one who not going to stock up. Buy wholesale, buy in bulk, consume less. That is what I think about that. We need to consume less. We are a society that consumes a lot, Reese.
Yeah,
We
come
use
on.
a lot of stuff, you know. And you know how I know? As a society, my neighbors are Asians, right? And they would have had a different culture. And every time I go trash there, they got one little trash bag. And I say, how would these people only got one little trash bag? And I got trash. You know, with all that I'm consuming. And I look at my neighbor to the left, trash. Down the street, trash. Because just we could just consume. We're consumers. We eat a lot. We buy a lot. I would just not per se. It's the vendors who sell. Yeah. Well, I know you're gonna defend it hard, eh? But Amazon done went up on Prime now, you know. So you cannot pull that one back. They done went up on the Prime cost. I ain't gonna sign up on student Prime, yeah?
So you're like, shift this
I
right?
ain't gonna sign up for student Prime, bro. Because
But
Amazon done this. Huh?
The supply chain has been severely altered,
It has.
and you have a lot of manufacturers who
This
not
come in the
getting
middle. We can't see
sorry
it.
sorry who not getting the equipment that they need, and
Yeah.
those who are getting the equipment that they need, it's putting them in a situation where they cannot send out the products as quickly as they used to.
Yeah.
And like you said, we consume a lot, and with us consuming a lot, we're not slowing down our consumption. Even the things a little rough. Even the things a little rough, we don't slowing down our consumption. And I think that's the situation.
Yeah. We're not.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we're possibly increasing it. And that is
Well,
why we're running into the issue with people
one
being home and stuff.
that is one of the main things with people being home, people working from home, people not having their jobs. Some of these children doing a lot of homeschooling.
Yeah.
You end up consuming more than you need to.
Hmm.
I don't know if you ever noticed it, and you might think back on when you were younger. You used to open the fridge a lot, yeah.
I do it still.
The same things in the fridge from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but Thursday morning you still open the fridge again, yeah. You know you ain't put nothing in there, but you're still looking at the fridge. You know what I mean? So it's just one of them things.
We consume a lot, man.
Yeah, we do consume a lot.
And a lot of
We
people.
do.
I tend to consume less. You know what I
And
mean?
for real.
I ain't even gonna tell a lie. You know what I mean? I try my best to consume less. You know, it's worked out. But
And Chev just put something here, right? Chev's statement said, school belly and home belly, different with children. And that is one of the realest things you could ever hear a parent tell you.
but
A child will go to school, right, and eat lunch only for the day, and they good. And they home, 8 o'clock they hungry, 9 o'clock they hungry, 10 o'clock they hungry, 11 o'clock they hungry, they 11:15, 11:30, 11:40 they're hungry. And then 12 o'clock they still want lunch. Murder.
well, me ain't much of a eater. So I hope when my son go down the same path. I don't eat too much. But I could snack from time to time. But I do. I've heard about it, man. I've heard about it.
Yeah, it's real, it's a real thing, it's a real thing. It's a real thing.
We're gonna what? Look, we either gonna learn how to consume less, or we're gonna be forced to consume less. Because as you could see, the supermarkets are already telling you only 2 per households. I was buying some mangoes right from Publix. I gone in there and the man said, "Buy you could skin up your face as much as you want, bro."
Yeah.
They make it. They been alright. I mean, they weren't Nevis mangoes, right? But they were alright. Reese, I'm very critical when it comes to mango. They couldn't make it.
Disappointed him.
Well, we go. It's been years now. Me ain't getting a Nevis mango, which should be a topic on here. Ira hasn't gotten a Nevis mango in a long time. But even the mango them had on a little sign. You get what I'm saying? Saying limit per households. Me not study that day. Cause all I got to do is go outside and come back, See, Tanya, Netflix gone up, and that maybe you know what? I am not a financial advisor, so I will not say anything about Netflix and the stock. But Reese, I think we have a problem. I don't know what's gonna happen in St. Kitts and Nevis. I've heard them cry about inflation. Inflation is global. Unfortunately, I don't think inflation is going to go anywhere right now. We might see a slow down in inflation, but the prices we have right now are the prices that we're probably gonna see for a good while. It's not going to go back. So all those who waiting for prices to drop,
Ain't coming.
ain't coming. The most can happen is in January. I know inflation was 7%. I think maybe 5% after. Maybe next month it might go back to the
Hey,
3%
hold on,
or
hold
the
on.
2%.
Hold
We
on,
never.
hold
I'm
on,
not.
hold
That was. I mean, I'm saying that's what you could expect.
Yeah,
Inflation
but
to
hold
slow
on,
down.
hold on. Hold on, Eva.
Mm-hmm.
Chef, me gonna lie to you, right? I want you to come in with them 6 or 10 mango you have. I just want you forward one to me. Me don't want too much. If you
Who?
get through with 10 mango,
Who?
chef. Me not, you don't see it. Know about that. If you get your mango, please send me one mango. I would send you money. If you want me to pay for it, I'll pay for it. Lord, me can't Publix mango boy. Can't do it, boy. Can't do it. But, Era,
Yeah.
now we talk about the mango business, right? We're gonna roll into the next topic, because
Yeah. We're running out of time.
we boy, that mango they me head now, boy. I could eat a good long mango, a good amripali right now, boy.
Bye, Reese. Your
But I could
boy
give me grandmother
technical
back.
get to you.
Grandmother back. Give me grandmother backyard, boy. She got a big amripali tree back there.
But why you ain't
Lord,
go home? Why you ain't go home?
but me not take no COVID test again in life, boy. Me don't tell you so.
Oh.
I Reese Trust will never take another COVID test.
Well, America take everybody off of their high list, you know. So if America take everybody off of their high list, maybe I think at this time is I feel like they don't reach the number in terms of vaccinated people, and we have already accepted that COVID is here to stay. I think we are already in the endemic, however you pronounce the word. I think it's time for us to just be done with all of them stuff there. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Let me just.
I would go. I would go home, but if they tell me I need to test, I'm not doing it. Nobody not ding me nose, then I must have my brain. I'm not doing it. Better mind yourself.
But
Hey, what you know? The good thing about this, though, the country, the islands start to free up, right?
yeah.
And one of the things we noticed for the last 2 years
Mm-hmm.
is that, well, 2020, around March, they kind of locked it down, and then last year there wasn't really much sports, but this year, 2022, we are back. We have seen a lot of the primary schools
Love
and
it.
also high schools having the sports.
Love
We
it.
see football. We see football in the down in St. Kitts. We see a lot of these things. We see currently character games going on. We have sent a contingency to character games and stuff like that. And we also see that partying and fit and the club life open up again. And I think that we are now regaining some semblance of normalcy
Yeah.
within the Federation of Serious
Well,
News. And I wanted to say that I love it. I'm happy to see it.
love it too.
And people could move around and they could socialize.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I know a man tell me he home and all the time he home, is he anyway. If it is only then he realize his wife can't cook.
They divorce now?
The man said dog. The man said dog, you don't realize why the wife can't cook back.
Oh Lord, they might have divorce.
You know what I mean? But it's good to see that people out the house and they're moving around, you know what I mean? They get to interact with other people and stuff. So,
Mm.
kudos to everybody, you know what I mean? And the athletes are out there running and putting on these shows. We happy, man, to see these athletes back on the track. You know, running the 200-meter, coming around the bend, running the 4x1, handing out the back, you know what I mean? Sports is back.
I happy.
Love to see it.
I'm happy.
Love to see it.
I'm happy, bro. I mean, I was worried about our generations to come, especially when it comes to sports, because of how important sports is, as it pertains to the development of our kids and their minds and their social behaviors. Well, how I ain't touched the Karen on the beach. Reese, how you ain't touched the Karen on the beach? Why? I mean, maybe it might come up in this conversation, Tanya. But you pointed it out. We might touch it.
The current and the beach is part of socializing. The beach is fairly open. Remember, you had a time you couldn't go beach because beach still had to give you corona.
Yeah, you can't catch corona in this one.
You know what I mean? So now they open up the place. You know what I mean? Get to get a little beach. You know, the current business start also.
Yep. She
You know what I
beach.
mean?
But
You know, but it was good. It's good to see a lot of these track meets going on for real, man. I was looking, I think, on multimedia. They up to multimedia to see what was. I think he had Benjamin Kayana Connery high school sports and stuff like that. I've seen some sports in Nevis. Also looking at the Carifta games currently happening as we speak. And it's just good to see track and field back. It's good to see that the females are able to play some football in St. Kitts. And it's good to see these guys in Nevis playing second division cricket and stuff like that, moving around, you know what I mean? I like to see that, man.
And Interpremier next week, right? Interpremier is next week.
Yeah, man.
Just remember.
I don't lie, you know, Interpremier is the biggest thing in Nevis.
It is. It is.
The biggest thing in Nevis. Not no Queen Show.
It is.
Interpremier, biggest thing in Nevis.
It is. It is.
You know,
It is.
And not only that, but you start to see now the DJs going back out and playing the music, the bands coming back out. We have seen the launch of the new core banner, and I mean they come together with a new set of guys and they all playing and grandmasters playing and stuff like that. Last night I look at some clips where they had Farmer Nappy and St. Kitts.
Oh yeah.
And it's just good to see that people moving around again, man. Like some semblance of normality is back.
Bye. You said the word normalcy, but I started to feel like we had adopted a new normalcy, because remember, normalcy is something abstract, so it could have changed. I mean, even when you say normal,
That is very true.
Yeah, even when you say normalcy, it hasn't gone back to what we once knew as normal. Like you say, you can't go to Nevis without a test, without getting dig in your nose, and maybe doing a day or so in quarantine. So, but as it pertains to the sports, I know in some countries, I think even in Jamaica, it didn't seem like they were allowing a full stadium, because when I looked at the Carifta games, the stadiums were a bit light in terms of spectators, right? So that is still a thing. They're still trying to keep down large crowds. You get what I'm saying? So we still making strides, but at least now we have the athletes them on the track running.
Like you said, the limited crowd. I was looking at IPL, Indian Premier League, T20, and they only had 25% at the stand full, and then extended it to 50%. But at least the sport is being played, just like how at least the athletes are back on the track. Even if you don't have the fans in the stand, you have the athletes back out there running. You know what I mean? You have these youngsters getting back, because I think that we look at sports as just sports, but there's a camaraderie that comes in sports. There's a level of socializing that comes in sports, and this is the way that some of these youngsters actually develop into adults.
Yeah.
Right. So you're kind of stunting their maturity, stunting their growth by not allowing them to do what they love. So you can just sit them back out there.
Well, I mean, there's research out there that has been done on sports. There's research. So I was wondering if government officials around the world even cared. But I understood COVID, but I think there was a time where we probably could have relaxed some of that and adjust. But anyway, I'm happy to see it back. I'm happy to see the events are back, because Reese, I want a good fete, I want a good fit. I looking to get a good fit this year, you know.
You're talking about a good fit. Imagine a man like me who ain't get to hear a good rhythm play, a good band play, a good pilinky-ling in him head.
Pilinky-lingy?
Me tell what Trinidad artists that will do live show and thing. I pay $20 to watch Patrice Roberts live show.
That's good. She come in here.
That's me. Not 27 pesos. 20 boy. But I also needed to hear something. I had to just do it.
Okay. Big up Starboy and that piece of news there. You know. Going back to what we once knew was normal. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people would be happy with that.
But I'll tell you something as well, There's going to be an adjustment period for some people as well. Some people are stuck in what it is now.
Well, me now wearing a mask, you know. Me done with that too.
But I tell you, I ain't seen a mask, boy.
I done with that.
I tell you, a mask, boy.
Tell you that. I done with that. But I understand, you know. It's a psychological thing as well, you know. You feel protected. If you feel protected, by means you do what you must, you know. But you know, if I'm on a plane and, you know, even if me, like, I'm traveling with my wife and she's like, put on your mask, you know, well, I might do it to appease her, but right now when the man send a mask, me not put on none. I want to know how much times I don't catch COVID, huh?
I understand the feeling. I know the feeling.
I've never tested positive for COVID before, but, you know, a couple times I don't feel sick. I got a child in daycare and I walk out. Well, if my child ain't wearing a mask, I care more about my child than I care about myself. So if my child is not wearing any mask, and what you're trying to tell me, my child can't catch COVID, well, then I can't catch COVID. But one thing I can continue to do though, I can continue wash me hand them, spread them up. That part there, I love that. That not gonna left. I jump in my car, hand sanitize. That part I need to keep. And I think a lot of people have already gone away from that.
I feel that.
Yeah, a lot of people have already gone away from that. When I come inside the house, in the bathroom, I washing my hands. And I think that is a practice that we probably need to keep up.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Because
what?
No, well, but I you know, the sanitizing and washing your hands is something that we shouldn't even have had to wait until COVID came along for us to do that. You know, I think that is sad for us as a people that we had to wait for a major thing like COVID to come along for us to have to decide, yo, I need to wash my hands. That should have never been that.
But I mean, for some people, and I would hope the majority of people, because I've gone into the bathrooms and see people walk out the stalls and not wash their hands, and they want to interact with you and so.
That's why I don't shake her now.
But even sorries, like I can remember being in a certain position where I know this guy, the guy doing something, and I know he is going to touch other things that I am going to be touching too. You get what I'm saying? You know.
Yeah, that is.
So you have to think about the scenarios where you can touch a doorknob, you can touch this, you can touch that. You know what I mean? And we as a people might have decided, yeah, we can wash our hands when you don't use the bathroom, you can wash your hand when your hand messy, you know, something happened, you can wash your hand, but the practice of sanitizing your hand, and you also don't want to over sanitize because you don't want to create super bugs, but you know, it's just something, and I find that anyway, next topic.
Well,
let me introduce it.
Yeah, we know one day because
well, we decided we're going to do a weird segment, right? We're going to do a weird segment, a strange topic segment. And this topic is quite strange. I can't believe it. Like, I hear some weird things in my life. But I would have never expect that I would be reading on the news and major news sites. It's on Yahoo, it's on all kind of news sites. And I can bring it on screen now. And for those who mightn't be able to see, it says 4 men arrested for raping a Bengal monitor lizard in western India. Reese.
Boy.
Reese. You see the lizard?
I
I don't know if that's
maybe.
what the lizard look like, but I did some research. The man said the lizard go up to about 5 feet, weigh about 16 pounds. Also. And the man decide, 4 man decide they can rape a lizard. Rape a lizard? You know?
Well, I got a lot of questions there.
Oh, my stomach. Oh. I can leave it on the screen for those who mightn't see it yet. Because this is something that you're really going to want to let it sink in. Rape a lizard. But Reese, I don't know if you read the article. But
No,
huh?
I read a good amount of it.
Yeah, the man went in a reserve and they get caught on the camera. So they catch one of the man them first. Right? They catch one of the man them first. Oh, my stomach. Oh. When they catch the other 3 and they go to them on phone, you know, them man got other animals in there, you know. Like porcupine and so, you know. So them man like they were on a mission, you know. It wasn't just the lizard them man touch up your check. Them man was touching up other animals. But them man watch a lizard and decide, I want to have sexual intercourse with that. And if that is not weird, I don't know what weird look like. And this is the weird topic of the week. Reese, I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear what you got to say.
So check out my right? In life. Sometimes life is not fair to everybody. Sometimes you might meet a young lady, right? A young, tired young lady who, and you know, in your mind, you know you want to deliver. But Father God said tonight is not the night to deliver. You look down, but not now look up. How would that man get up for that day?
But them are a different type of nature. Them are a different type of nature, I tell you.
No.
Them man got a different type of nature. The man, look, right here. In addition to the video of the man sexually abusing the monitor lizard, officials also found photos of various animals such as porcupines and deer on the man's phone.
But this is another question I have to.
Me no know.
Who in the Bible say life is good? You know when you got a party and things good, you might take out the phone and take a picture. When you say that life is good, let me record.
Well, what happened was they were in a reserve.
No, but they find the woman.
Okay. I get what you're saying. Well, no, it was just pictures. I don't know what the pictures were. I don't know if it was pictures of them in the act, if it was just pictures of this is one of our victims. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. They didn't go into description of what these pictures were. The video, what them and see, it was surveillance video. But when they take the phone, they saw pictures of animals in there. Now, India not play with them, you know. India is not playing with them because India has a Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. So, some politician, and I want to know if St. Kitts and Nevis got a Wildlife Protection Act. Because we seen video man with goat and sheep.
I will rather, you know, because I will rather because I see a man knock half a goat the pie.
Exactly, the pig. You know what I mean? These animals can't protect themselves. So you see, back to the laws. They need to go make laws, right? Yeah. Big up Kejel, you know, the man who make the Real Talk Corner theme song, one of them, and Daddy Wow. But then, for the act, right? According to the Indian Penal Code, section 377 states that anyone who voluntarily, so it's not like Reese, I hold a gun to your head and say, bah, you better Marvin that animal. So it has to be voluntarily. Commits intercourse with an animal shall be punished. Well, how you think they should deal with them? How you think they should deal with these people? Let me ask you. What do you think is a good enough punishment for them?
Good enough punishment, to be honest. So first is breaking and entering.
Okay, we now think about that. Let me just stick to them and what you think the last they get for raping this animal?
No, they were. I feel honestly.
Yeah.
That and I can take it back to the Bible days.
No,
the Bible said if a man sleep with the daughter, he can sleep with the wife, he should be stoned to death. I think that he should get stoned to death.
Sleep with the wife?
Sleep with the daughter like he sleep with the wife.
Oh.
It's in Leviticus.
Okay.
That he should be stoned to death.
Okay, so
because that man was multiple animals, you know?
Yeah.
Multiple animals, no man.
Okay, well, Reese, they didn't do that much, but they shall be punished with imprisonment for life or imprisonment for either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Shaman went to do some research on how is it even possible?
I mean, listen. I like to, these things kind of.
Like what? They insert their eyelash. Why? Oh man, that man deserve life imprisonment. I believe it. I don't know. Some people might say it's a mental illness, but it also goes to sexual preferences. And the poor lizard and probably the porcupine and the deers them had no choice. The man then hold on upon that and rape that, rape these lizards.
Check another scenario. Check the scenario, right? This is probably check that one, Them 4 man there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4 man them pan child support. The man cannot make the child support payments. The man fail out, if they sleep with a woman, they might get a child. So they man gonna lie down with the animal. Because the animal can't breathe.
But recent lizard?
Boy.
How the man not even a mammal. That's like Chevelle say, how
I understand it, boy.
Oh Lord, these women gone hard on these men. I
enjoy that. I enjoy that way. Then come on there. See the comment, them boy. They're rough.
Yeah. But that is the weird topic of the weird topic of
the weird topic of the week.
Yeah.
The weird topic of the week. No. We'll end it off with this story that came out of Central America.
Yeah.
Story coming out of Central America. Have you got it?
I thought I did, but apparently I don't. But you could kick it off. I could bring it up.
Wait, hold on. Unpopular opinion, but we have people out here identified as unicorns.
What?
Hey, Cadell's crazy, boy. But I understand what Cadell's talking about. Is that what you identify as? What you trying to say is if you could identify as anything out there, do maybe you might identify as anything.
Me not gonna get into that because People beating the system now, boy. You see the story about the man? I mean, sorry. Please don't come at me. But
yeah, his pronouns correct, boy.
yeah, I'm sorry. You see the story of the woman that was able to impregnate 2 other women in jail?
That is serious.
Yeah,
But
that's how that go.
we talk on this thing here quickly.
I'll bring it up. But
You got it?
yeah. You could
In El Salvador,
mhm.
I think it was last weekend, there was mass incarceration
Mhm.
where I think it was over 3,000 people, if I'm correct.
Well, at that time it was 6. But
Yeah,
right now,
over
yeah. So let me just pull this one up on the screen. Right? What you can't see on the screen is the date. The date of this article is 10. Let me move this. The date of the article is April 13th.
April 13th.
Yeah. And what it says is in 17 days, 10,000 gangs have been arrested in El Salvador. 10,000. 10,000 people stuffed into a prison. Now, Reese, there's a lot to be said about this, eh? And we're gonna get into that.
So you have 10,000 people, 10,000 gang members, but you have to keep in mind that El Salvador is the home base of one of the largest gangs in the world, which would be MS-13.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look, and then there's also another one called Grape, I think it's Grape Street at 8th Street. And it's also based in El Salvador as well. And a lot of these individuals, when they do make it to the US for whatever reason, they get themselves caught or whatever, and then they get deported. And when they get deported, they do not lose their gang ties. They go back and they find other people, and they join a faction of their gang down there. So I understand why they would try to do it, but it's tough. Because I don't think you could justify an arrest for every person. 10,000 gang members, and they ain't been in the prison, eh? So the prison that was there 2 years ago, when you only had 300 people in there, now got 10,300 people in there. You know? So that's a tough one. I understand it, but that's a tough one.
Me too. Because how many homicides they had in the weekend? It was a lot.
They had like 60 something over one weekend.
Yeah. It was like a lot of homicides. And the president now has this stance where he is like, I'm tough on crime. So, I mean, I think we have a humanitarian type issue here when it comes to maybe how these people are being hosted. Well,
it's definitely going to be one of those things where you might actually have one of those global organizations make a cry and say that it is inhumane for all the way these individuals are being
kept,
the conditions that they're facing while they're arrested.
Yeah.
You know, because if you have, let's just be simple, man. You have a jail with 1,000 cells. You just arrest 10,000 people. That's 10 people to a cell, yeah?
Yeah.
That's just basic, man. That's 10 people to a cell, and we know them jail cell are big. You know what I mean? So it's very tough. It's an unfortunate situation to see that people have to go through that. For whatever reason, these guys were arrested. I almost sound like it was just a sweep. They just went and picked up gang members. It didn't even sound like, these people had outstanding warrants or anything.
It's like the man feel like you're in a gang, the man hold you. That's it. That's how it looks.
That's what,
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, yeah, that's what it looks like. That if you associate with a gang, they feed you in a gang. You even have one of those tattoos that maybe considered a gang sign. You know what I mean? That you are arrested. You know, so it's a very tough situation to see people actually having to deal with that.
And you know, America back them, eh? So you know, you had a statement that says the U.S. government continues to support El Salvador in its efforts to reduce the proliferation of gangs. We urge El Salvador to protect its citizens while also upholding civil liberties, including freedom of speech. And this
Well,
was a statement by the Secretary of State, Anthony J. Blinken, or something like that.
so now there's much more to the story. Eh? One of the things to the story is you have a lot of journalists that aren't permitted to speak on the arrest, and it's also being alleged that the the leader of the country, I don't know if he'll be a president or president or whatever title they
Mm-hmm.
hold, that he was associated with some of these people before he got arrested, before he got into power.
Mm.
And if you look at it, there's this major corporation that is trying to move into El Salvador that the president or whatever is dealing with. They're trying to make Bitcoin an official currency of El Salvador. So they're
Mm.
bringing in these major
Try, try,
huh?
try.
Yeah, but
I think they
I
don't do
don't.
it, you know. They don't do it.
Yeah, so all of that seems to play a part into it. I was looking at some stuff about them, and they were saying that this is one of the things that the leader of the country is doing, and he had a lot of people, go against him. But if I don't have people go against me, and who I gonna try to get rid of first? The ones that I know don't care. They
Yeah.
ain't got nothing to lose.
Mm.
So I understand, in a sense, his frame of thought, what they don't agree with it.
Where I find this unfortunate is that, and Kajal raised a good point, get them off the street, but a lot of those guys were feeding a whole community just thinking outside the box. But where I find this whole thing unfortunate is that when you have countries like El Salvador's and certain communities, right? People are forced into gangs, not because they want to be like, well, if you're forced, you're not want to, but forced into gangs because you might need protection, you might feel like you don't have a way out, whatever the case may be. You mightn't be a bad person, you mightn't even be doing dirt, you might just be a low runner in the gang, trying to make some money to feed your family, or whatever the case may be. You mightn't be doing violent crimes, or whatever the case may be, but you're going to be caught up in it. So now, rather than create some sort of economic stimulation that could help steer some of the young people away from gangs, we can just throw them in prison. I mean, for some of them, it's already too late because some of them are violent criminals. I get that. You got to get those off the street. But when you decide, boy, this man got a tattoo, this man is a gang member because he way backwards, you know what I mean? I'm just going to throw him in jail to rot. Because that's essentially what's going to happen. They're probably going to rot in jail. There's no way these guys are going to get representation, right? I mean, you're not going to see 10,000 people let back on the street all at once. So they're probably going to just rot in jail. You may have a riot in that same jail that they won't be able to control. But then you might see the jail burn down too. And everybody dead.
You have so many members of these gangs in one jail.
Yeah.
That if these gang members decide to take over the jail, there isn't any guy that could stop them.
None. But they're in jail. And they're in an area. And if you really want to get radical, and if you really want to really rid yourself of it, you could have a mystery fire of some sort. And everybody in one area. And that's it. One of the worst tragedies in jail history. One of the worst case. Unfortunate. A matter of fact, like you say, it could have been a riot that caused the fire. You know. But at the end of the day, guess what? They feel like their problem is no longer a problem. But a lot of kids now can grow up without fathers and stuff like that. You know, you look at a man like Snoop Dogg and so you could imagine Snoop Dogg would have been round up in the thing. A big man like a Snoop Dogg now, who society now looks up to. Snoop Dogg is still creeping. So what I'm trying to show here is that everybody that's in a gang is violent. You got people in gangs that it's just because they live on this block and all of them are friends. You know what I mean? And they need the protection. They need the protection because they're from this area. And that's it. You know, it's not that I want to be in a gang. And some people might say, well, just get out of the situation. But sometimes you can't escape it. You really can't escape the situation. It's like when you live in a place and you hear about racism, but you never experience systematic racism because you grow up in a place that's is run by your own kind, but then you go in another place that's run by another set of people, and then you start to see where you look like your eyes open, you realize, wait, this thing really exists. So when you start to think about gang members and so, not in every case all these gang members want to be gang members. And I could probably think a lot of them don't want to be gang members. But they have no choice, especially when they man recruit.
Yeah, it's just the circumstances that they're born into, the situation that they're born into.
Yeah.
And so like you said, some join and never do a crime. They were never a violent person. They just needed some level of protection, and they're from the area.
Some money.
And, yeah, something like that. But it's just one of those things, man. It's sad to see 10,000 people go to jail one time, because if you look at it, that is pretty much the population of Nevis.
Mm-hmm.
So you just show a whole island in jail.
Whole island.
You know?
And with that said, Reese, you know, I think we had a good show and we had a good comeback, and I enjoyed interacting with the crowd.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back.
I hope they enjoyed it. And of course, you know, like, share this thing, man. You know what I mean? Share this thing. And even tell us when we are talking rubbish. I appreciate that. I appreciate feedback. So, Reese, you want to take us out?
Yeah, man, but you know, I want to say big up to everybody that tuned in. You know, we've been gone for some time, and now we're back. You guys are back with us, and we say thank you for being here with us. We'll be back next week Monday with another show. But with that being said, Real Talk Corner is back, but we out.
We out, and it has been real.
We on the corner, man. We on the corner, man. We on the corner, man. With that real talk. We on the corner, man. With that real talk, real talk, real talk, real talk.
Load us, blossom, don't cry.